What's happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the Drew Deeks channel. If you haven't heard, we had a transaction earlier today, folks. I know that you guys have heard. I'm just kidding around. So we know Jeff Petry and Ryan Poehling. Yes, it has finally happened. They've both now gone to the Pittsburgh Penguins, and also we've signed Rem Pitlick to a 2-year contract extension, which was probably the sweetener of the news of the day because initially I think a lot of people, I don't know about a lot, but some people may not have liked this deal when they first glanced at it, and I actually wasn't a fan of it at first either. And when I first looked at Twitter, I thought I saw that Chris Letang was coming to the Habs, but actually it was Chris Letang that was being interviewed talking about how upset he was that Mike Matheson was leaving the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was beloved in the locker room and potentially by a potential Hall of Fame defenseman in Chris Letang. So you guys already know this deal. You know what happened. I'm not going to take much of your time on this one because I'm sure you've seen reactions from other folks at this point. Of course, we waited days and weeks for the Jeff Petry news or trade, if you will, to happen. And it just so happens when I go right into work. So that rarely happens to me. I've been very fortunate to have Kent Hughes have some great timing with me. But anyway, let's briefly talk about it here. So Jeff Petry era in Montreal is finally over. Not in a bad way. It's just that the timing, it was expected. And Ryan Poehling, short-lived, but just like Romanov, I mean, Ryan Poehling wasn't Kent Hughes' guy, so probably had an easier time moving him. And Pittsburgh really wanted an extra piece in this deal in order for the Habs to take Matheson and for Pittsburgh to take on Jeff Petry's full contract, because as we know, the Habs are not retaining any salary on this Jeff Petry trade here, which was part of the reason for the move in the first place, was to shed that salary. But we take over Mike Matheson. And by the way, Mike Matheson, a Point Claire native, where yours truly, that's me, was also born in Point Claire. Just a fun fact for you, in case you're wondering where I was from, and part of why I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. We're from the Montreal area as well. So in terms of what I read on Jeff Petry and Kent Hughes and the way this all went down, the one thing I'm happy about in this deal, because I know some folks don't think we got enough or just wasn't the sexy enough deal for people, but I do feel that this was the best that Kent Hughes could do. And based on what we read and what we heard from Kent Hughes himself, he didn't feel like waiting was going to be a good option. He didn't want to wait for Jeff Petry to hopefully have a good first half of the season next year and increase his value and try to get a better deal. Now was the time. A defenseman was what he wanted to be returned to the Habs in this deal. Kent Hughes did. He wanted a defenseman in lieu, or not really replacing Jeff Petry, but sort of, because if you look at Mike Matheson's numbers, I mean, you guys will probably have found out by now that he had a career season with Pittsburgh last year, putting up 31 points in 74 games, 11 goals, 20 assists. Plus minus, I actually got to say, I did not look until right now, but they have gotten significantly better throughout his time in the NHL. A plus 12 last year with Pittsburgh. So, going back to where are we at here? Okay, yeah. So with this player again, I really like the fact that, number one, he's an offensive defenseman, so he's gonna very likely be on the power play. But what was interesting that Ken Hughes actually said about Mike, not just the fact that he was his agent at one point, by the way, and that he spoke very, very highly of Mike's character, which, as you know, the Habs are trying to bring in great character guys. The reason they took Slavkovsky. Anyway, that's a bunny trail. But back to the reason that they took him in the hockey sense also is because the 5-on-5 numbers, Mike Matheson ranked out of the top 25 defensemen in the NHL, I believe it was. I saw on Sportsnet, for goals at 5-on-5 as a defenseman. So that's really encouraging to see as well. And I also like the fact that Matheson, he's got some size. He's 6'2", again, same height as me, also red hair. This is getting weird. Like the similarities. Look at Mike Matheson. Red hair, it's all coming together now. But 6'2", 188 pounds. He's currently listed on a Hockey DB anyway. A first-round pick, guys. A first-round pick with the Florida Panthers, 23rd overall in the 2012 NHL entry draft. So what we're getting with Mike Matheson, we're also getting a 2023 fourth-round pick. That's a throw-in. But I got to say, I'm looking forward to having this player, and especially a reliable left-handed shot on the power play. I don't think we've had that since Andrei Markov, my favorite Hab of all time. But we do now. So let's jump in really quickly, though, to Rem Pitlick. So we were able to sign Pitlick, which was nice because a lot of fans were wondering why we hadn't signed him and why we were not making him an offer. We didn't offer him what we didn't make him a qualifying offer. That's the word I'm looking for, the term I'm looking for. But now they were able to get him at a very reasonable cap hit of $1.1 million for the next 2 seasons. Fantastic work by Ken Hughes. I like that because they were able to free up enough cap space from this Jeff Petry trade and make room for Rem Pitlick, which we could definitely use the center depth. I think he played a lot better than Ryan Poehling last year. I think, love Ryan Poehling, by the way. We still directly message him on Instagram. Just, we had a great relationship with him on Habs tonight. So he always responded to us. Just a phenomenal guy. By the way, I just wish all the best for Ryan Poehling. But when it comes to Rem Pitlick here, I just think that it was a good depth piece for us to keep, and I'm glad that we made it affordable as well. And you know what? Let's talk about Pales real quick here, because we're all going to remember forever the infamous NHL debut that he had. And look who was with him on this debut game where he scored a hat trick and a shootout goal. Jeff Petry right alongside on the right side, him and his new buddy who's going to go with him to Pittsburgh. So we're never going to forget this night from Ryan Poehling, and just forever in our memories, right? And one of our co-hosts, Brandon from Habs tonight, was at the game as well. Just a fun fact as well. How many times can I say that one night? It's after midnight, in case you didn't know. It's been a while since I've done a late video like this. So thank you for sticking with me. I'm rambling a little quickly here, but I just wish all the best for Ryan. And I think it's pretty cool that they both get to go together to Pittsburgh. And the first question I'm going to have for Ryan probably is going to be, how excited are you going to be to play with Sid and Gino and Chris Letang too? Just some legends over there in Pittsburgh. But as far as the Canadiens go, a couple of things I want to mention just before I get to the end of this video. I just want to mention that there is a video that I did make not that long ago about, will Justin Barron become the next Jeff Petry? I don't know that that's a good trajectory. I think that's a pretty high ceiling to reach. Jeff Petry has been a fantastic defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens. I just think he's been one of the best we've had in a very, very long time. So it's unfortunate that his season ended the way it did last. Well, his season ended good last year, but overall, you guys know he had his toughest season. So check out this video from Justin Barron. I'm going to put the link up for you guys at the end here. Important note, Primo Montembeault and Kirby Dach are the remaining 3 players on the Canadiens roster that still need contracts before the next season. I looked at that just really quickly. So I think Kirby Dach's, that's an important piece of business to take care of. So that'll be done next, hopefully. And then Primo Montembeault will get done as well. More moves to come. Good question. We don't know, but I think this was the most important. Ken Hughes was working on this for weeks, if not months. So now it's finally done. But again, Jeff Petry, the era is over here in Montreal. And just to once again hear the transaction. But I just think that I wish Jeff Petry all the best. We know the family situation was the most important. Now those restrictions probably won't be in place next year if anything happens with COVID, heaven forbid. But anyway, you guys let me know your comments and the thoughts in the comments down below. And I appreciate you guys waiting for this video, especially if you're stuck to the end of it right now. So thank you so much. If you guys are enjoying the channel, you know what to do. You know what buttons to push. So thank you so much for the support, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Thank you.